quarterback Kyle Allen got the J.O.B. done yesterday, leading the Panthers to their first win of the season, filling in for Cam. After losses to both the Rams and the Bucs, he pulled off 4 very different touchdowns in a 38-20 win over Arizona. Max, should the Panthers ever consider benching Cam?
No, not as long as he's healthy, which is what they're saying. If Cam Newton is healthy, he is an excellent quarterback. I will remind everyone again, this man won the MVP not all that long ago, led his team to a Super Bowl, and I got on him for not diving on a loose ball, basically, but they still had a chance to win the game when he didn't dive on that ball in the second half of the Super Bowl. After the season, he was voted by his peers, Stephen A., #1 player in football. Not Tom Brady, not Aaron Rodgers, not J.J. Watt at the time, Cam Newton. And that guy, last year in Norv Turner's offense, before he got hurt, looked like an MVP candidate. He has not been healthy since then. If Cam is healthy, you obviously don't bench an MVP, bring your team to the Super Bowl level player for the backup after one good game.
Well, of course not after one good game. But what if it extends to 3 or 4 games? And what if this guy goes undefeated while still completing his passes? The guy went yesterday. You talk about Kyle Allen, 19 to 26, 261 yards, 4 touchdowns, sacked twice. Oh, by the way, a quarterback rating of 144. What if he does that and they win? Do we look at Cam Newton and say, please, he's Cam Newton, he shouldn't lose his job to injury? When you consider the fact that up until last year, he was struggling to complete 60% of his passes a season? I think that you have to consider that. The fact of the matter is that you keep bringing up Cam Newton and how great he was as a league MVP and making a Super Bowl berth. That was 2015. That's a long time ago in NFL life. In other words, this is 4 years later. Most NFL players don't get 4 years. He's gotten it. And the reality of the situation is that I keep saying this all the time. Cam Newton is an incredible athlete, and he's a star athlete, a stud athlete. As a thrower of the football, I have always said he leaves a lot to be desired. I have always said he's not, he's at best the 3rd best quarterback in his own division, let alone the conference. And so when you look at it from that perspective, and the fact that you were 0-2 with them, and the fact that you were struggling the way that you struggled, I'm saying if Cam Newton is out, and this guy Kyle Allen comes up in there, and he continues to produce the way that he produced yesterday, I think if you're Ron Rivera, you got to consider that. Because if you're Ron Rivera, you got people talking about your own damn job security.
First thing about the MVP. That is right. That's already 4 years ago. He said in the NFL it's a long time. Fine. But my point is, until he got hurt last year in Norv Turner's offense, that's the best I've ever seen him look, and I'm including the MVP.
I agree with that.
So I think the trajectory is going in the right way until the injuries. Maybe it's an adding up of all the hits he's taken, like Andrew Luck behind a bad offensive line when he didn't have a running game and all that stuff. Maybe. Your point about what if like they go undefeated without Cam, right? Like whoever it is playing under center. Look, we saw this with Kurt Warner, not only replacing Trent Green, but then do people remember how Kurt Warner's career with the Rams ended? He was the MVP, best player in football. Oh, my God, the most glittering star gets hurt, and Mark Bulger goes 8-0, and that was the end of Kurt Warner on the Rams. So I'm not saying that can't happen to Cam Newton, but it's got to be something like that. They have to go, if they win 6, 7, 8, 9 games in a row, you're right, anyone could lose their career to injury, or at least with that team. But even if that happens, some other team is going to pick up a really good quarterback.
That's not the subject. The subject is Cam Newton and whether or not he should be benched. And I'm telling you, if Cam Newton sits up there, if Kyle Allen goes up there and goes 3-0, you might have to ride that wave. You might have to ride that way.
Not if Cam's healthy. If Cam's healthy,
you might have to ride it. If he goes 3-0 and he's playing the way that he played, you might have to ride that wave.
Gentlemen, we got to pay some bills. All right, so maybe not bench him, but definitely don't need to wait till Cam's 100% to bring him back. That's for sure after that performance. Much more First Take to come. Has Patrick Mahomes surpassed Brady, Breeze, and Rodgers? What the what? New blood plus Dak in the